Hello, this is the Messy Chef. I'm going to take you through the process of making something called Chinese soupy dumplings. And the soup is right there. It's a very flavorful chicken stock that has been gelatinized. You add some gelatin to that. And what happens is you cube it up, you add it with a pork dumpling type mixture, and then you steam these dumplings using wonton wrappers. These dumplings, the soup, the gelatinized soup melts when they steam, and so in each little packet, not only getting a flavorful bite of pork, you're also getting, of course, some liquid inside, which is kind of a neat thing. And here we are filling the dumpling. You can see the big cubes of soup that go into there. Now you have to add some water around the edges there, and we bring these together, and you're stuffing basically the dumpling by gathering the tops and giving a little squeeze so you get those little pleats. And usually when I go out to get these in a Chinese restaurant, and it's hard to find these because it's a specialty of the Shanghai region of China, they're in a little bigger wrapper. These are the standard size you'd find in your Asian market. You can also make your own, but it's a lot more work. So we were using these sort of pre-made wrappers, and it was the appropriate size for our recipe. Our recipe, incidentally, comes from the star chef from New York City, Anita Lowe, who presented this recipe. I believe it was in Gourmet magazine. If not, it was Bon Appetit. And you can find it on epicurious.com. If you search for soupy dumpling Anita Lowe, you'll find the recipe we used here. Now that soup in there is called an aspic when you mix gelatin with a broth. And again, you want that rich, full of flavor. One of the things we added for flavor there was some Smithfield ham. The ham actually doesn't make it into the dumpling itself, but it's used to flavor that broth. You see some other things in there: sesame oil, a little bit of soy sauce, scallion, obviously, and some ground pork. And that gets all mixed in these wrappers. Now, the process is a little time consuming. You're making these things ahead of time. And if you wanted to, you could wrap these up and freeze them. The only concern I have for you when you make these and you don't cook them right away is the wrapper can get a little dry. So if you do decide you want to freeze them, the best way to do that is to put them on a sheet pan, put them in the freezer without any cover. You wait about an hour, and then you can tightly wrap those in plastic. And they should keep about a month if you want to make more of these ahead of time. And then you really don't want to thaw them when you go to cook them. You want to put them directly in the steamer. Now, we steamed ours fresh for about 12 minutes, and if you're going to do them frozen, I would probably add a couple more just to make sure they're fully cooked. And there's a nice little close-up of the finished dumplings. We put a little bit of flour down so they don't stick on the pan. And as you keep going and going and going and going, you keep building more of these. It helps to have somebody who has experience with this. My colleague here is actually the one filling this up, and he is Chinese, and he's done this before many times, and so he's much better at I than actually closing these things up and doing it right. The last thing you want is for this to open up in the steamer and have the soup escape. The soup is kind of the treat here. That's what makes this a rather special thing to have. And again, you want a nice tight seal at the top. So once you start doing these, you gain a collection of them. And I'm just kind of panning by here, showing you some of the wonderful little things we've made. And here's some shots from behind the chef himself, putting some of these together. Again, wetting the edges with water, using the filling there, including the big blocks of the soup, or what will become soup when we steam these. And you put these all together. Now, what do you dress these with? You could just eat them plain, but usually you want some kind of sauce. And so I created a sauce. I chopped very finely some scallions, and then what you do is you kind of crush them. You want to get as much flavor out of the scallions as possible. So that's 2 scallions. I added some Chinese black vinegar, and I also added a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit of hot chili and garlic paste. Now, we use Napa cabbage leaves to set up the steamer, and there go the raw dumplings. and the steamer has already been going. It's a bamboo steamer. You just put that over a pot of gently boiling water, and there's me checking the temperature. The top of that was registering about 178 degrees with my laser thermometer. And there they come out done. You can see there's a little soup there collected at the bottom. Got to be careful when putting them on the plate. You don't want them to explode or to leak. Again, hot soup is one way to enjoy it. Now when you eat these, you can sort of bite a hole and suck out the soup, or if you're like me, I just put on the spoon, adorned with a little sauce, and you have a delicious, delicious treat. Chinese soupy buns. Thanks for watching.